Hello everyone, Heather here with astrologywithheather.com, and I am back with another super exciting weekly forecast, and this one is for Monday, January 20th, all the way through to Sunday, January 26th of 2019. And this is a big week in the astrology again, mostly because we're finally coming to the end of eclipse season. And this has been a particularly stressful, intense, and turbulent eclipse season because we've also had that exact conjunction of Saturn and Pluto in the mix, which has been causing a lot of turmoil for quite a few people, but also causing us to have to restructure our lives really deeply in many different ways. And so, it's not without some sort of reward, at least. But I feel like a lot of people are going to be happy to kind of move out of eclipse season and move into something different. And so this is going to bring us a fresh start, a big cosmic reset. The first new moon after eclipse season is always very welcomed, and it's always representative of this sort of new beginning after we've had this shift or this change, or we've been moving into something new in our lives. It's kind of like we've been going through this period of reorientation where we've been making adjustments and maybe even completely changing something on a very deep level in our lives. And now it's kind of like, okay, the dust is starting to settle. It's time to start moving forward again. And so this new moon is no exception to that, because this new moon is actually going to be not only in the sign of Aquarius, which is a more rebellious, forward-thinking sign, where it's kind of always a sign where you're kind of looking to the future, looking to the next thing. And so it's already this energy of wanting to shake things up, to start something fresh, to do something new and exciting, innovative, outside of the box. And then we also have this energy with the sun coming into an exact square with Uranus this week. And so that's going to happen on Wednesday. And that's going to actually be a part of the new moon in Aquarius energy, which comes exact on Friday. And so what does that mean? Well, Uranus is the planet that is very heavily associated with very shocking, unexpected change that comes about in very unusual ways in our lives. It brings about disruption to the current paradigm in our lives. It causes us to have to change something sort of on a dime all of a sudden without really being able to plan or prepare for it in any sort of way. Another way that it can manifest is by creating a lot of frustration with our current circumstances. And that's something that everyone's been experiencing to a certain extent with that Saturn-Pluto energy that's been feeling really oppressive, and it's been feeling like it's sort of been weighing us down. And there's all this challenging energy that we still have to work through before we can move on to something else. And that's been a big sort of theme across the board for many people right now. And so this is going to be a welcomed release. This is where that frustration that's been building, maybe you can channel it into something. Maybe it's not that you get to completely overhaul and change the thing that has been weighing on you, but you get to have an outlet for something new and for change that maybe can pave the way, right? And so this is going to be a big reset, and this is a great time to set intentions this month for changing something really radically. So if there is something in your life, especially related to the themes that we'll talk about when we get into the forecast for all 12 signs, for your zodiac sign specifically, if there's something that you've been really wanting to change that has been feeling really frustrating, that has been having you feeling sort of like caged up, like you're stuck in a box and you really want to break free, and you just can't continue on in the same way day in and day out anymore. This is a time to set intentions to change something and to break free from those limitations and restrictions that have been imposed on you. But maybe to do it in a way that is a little radical, that's a little bit eccentric, that's a little bit outside of the norm, or to change something in your life in a way that you never would have normally thought about doing. And so it could be that maybe you've been feeling frustrated and you've been trying to figure out how you can change something to release that frustration in more of a conventional manner. And this full moon or this new moon energy shows you and gives you that insight that you could actually go about it in a completely different way that's really outside of the box and very different from anything that you normally would have tried to do. And that might actually prove to be more fruitful under this energy. This could also indicate that the new beginnings that you're seeding this month might not necessarily go the way that you plan. That's part of this energy too. There is a lot of forward momentum right now because this is one of two periods, I think until like February 2nd or February 4th. Sometime in February we'll have retrograde starting up again, but right now we're in a period where all planets are moving direct. So everybody's like, okay, I just went through this rearranging. A lot of stuff has been up in the air and changing, and even if it hasn't fully manifested, I can see that change is coming. I want to start doing something about this. I want to push forward, right? I'm done rearranging. I'm done planning and plotting for the year ahead. I'm done doing the inner work and doing the restructuring to seed that foundation. I want to move, right? And that's part of this energy with that Aquarius energy and with that Uranus square as well. But this could be like you thought that you were going to do something in one way, and now an opportunity presents itself that's completely random and completely different than what you would have expected as a result of the intentions you're seeding and what it is that you're sort of getting going, the momentum that you have going at the start of this month. So the start of this lunar month, I should say. And so definitely keep your options open. Don't try to hold on too tightly to your expectations for exactly the way things should be or the way things should play out based on the intentions that you're setting for this new moon. And we're still kind of in that eclipse, energy. It's not going to be obviously as strong. We're officially moving out of eclipse season, but we're still kind of dealing with the aftermath of that. And when we're dealing with eclipse energy, a lot of times there's something that's being eclipsed that we don't see clearly already. And so things don't always pan out exactly in the way that we expect them to. Throw in a Uranus square to the new moon, and you're going to have to allow for that energy where you can sort of roll with the punches and be flexible and change what needs to be changed at a moment's notice sometimes. And so if you're rigid in the way that you're expecting things to be or the way that you really want things to be, if you're trying to micromanage whatever it is that you're intending to create for yourself this month, it's probably not going to bode well, mostly for your own inner sense of just accomplishment and feeling comfortable with what's going on. So just keep that in mind, right? Be open to new opportunities, be open to things that are different. And that disruptive energy won't be as challenging for you. But this could actually bring on around the new moon this week, so sort of toward the end of this week, this energy could literally bring some sort of unexpected new beginning in your life that sort of comes out of the blue and comes out of nowhere, especially if you're somebody with your sun, moon, rising in the fixed signs. So that would be Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. Within the first 5 degrees, you'll be feeling this really intensely. And so it might be that all of a sudden everything changes just out of nowhere for you toward the end of this week and into the weekend. There's some sort of new opportunity that comes, but it's super disruptive and it could really cause you to have to change a lot. So the end results with Uranus, even in squares, it's not easy to deal with in the moment when Uranus is in a square because there is so much change and it's so coming out of left field that you couldn't possibly plan for it. But it's usually the end results are liberation from the old habits, the old ways of being, the old situations in your life that have felt frustrating or oppressive in some sort of way. So that's kind of what we're moving toward, is getting rid of that stagnant energy in your life that feels mundane and boring and stuck. And usually that does feel good as an end result, even if you do have to kind of adapt in the moment with all the change going on. And not everyone with this new moon, by the way, is going to have like a crazy upheaval or all sorts of, weird experiences and things like that showing up. Some people will. But I also kind of wanted to point out something in this video because I'm getting a lot of comments about this recently, which is completely okay. Because, there are all levels of people who are interested in astrology who watch these types of videos. And there are so many people these days who are new to astrology that are really getting into it. And that's awesome. But what I have noticed is that there's a lot of people that don't really understand what these general forecasts are. I actually have a video that I created that explains the general forecasts and how to utilize them more effectively so you can get more detail out of it and so you can understand what you're hearing a little bit better. And I will post that video link down in the description below. But I just want to remind all of you that this is a general astrology forecast. And so what I'm doing here is I'm using whole sign houses, and I'm using what's referred to often as a sunrise chart or a solar chart for your sun sign in order to determine where it would fall in respect to your sun or to your rising sign in terms of house placements. And so essentially when astrologers do these types of videos, they're reading the chart as if you're somewhere where your rising sign. And so first and foremost, listening to your rising sign, if you know the exact time, location, all of that of your birth, that's going to give you usually the most accurate information. The sun sign will still give you a lot of good information as well. So I always tell people to listen to your rising sign first, and then the sun sign is a secondary influence. If you want to listen to your moon sign, that's going to be more of an internalized energy, and it's going to be less accurate when it comes to the outward manifestation of events, but it's still something that people sometimes really like to listen to, especially if you have a very lunar chart, like a lot of really Cancerian energy or something like that. But this is a general forecast. It doesn't account for every single thing going on in your chart. And so I've been getting a lot of comments from people that are like, I'm an Aries and none of this happened for me. That's fine. It's very difficult to make a general forecast that is going to be very specific and detailed and accurate for over 2,000 or 20,000 people each week, right? So that's, it's not an easy task, and it's not possible to do. That's why personal astrology readings and understanding your personal chart as it relates to the transits that we're talking about can be very important and can help you to understand what's going on a lot more easily. And a reason that you might find some weeks that these forecasts are super accurate and other weeks that they're just not as accurate for you are because of your own personal transits. So if you have Pluto sitting right on your natal Venus right now, or Saturn, both with Pluto sitting right on your natal Venus right now, but you have like really great energy otherwise that I'm talking about with the Pluto-Saturn conjunction these past couple of weeks, maybe you are a Virgo rising and it's trining your, rising sign, but not exact by degree, but you have this super intense energy on your natal Venus, you're not going to experience it very positively, even though it's trining your ascendant sign, and it should be a more positive experience for you. So you have to take into account what these things are doing in your own actual birth chart as well, if you want to get more of a detailed, accurate interpretation. But you can still this is still showing what's going on in the different houses for you. My point is that sometimes there are stronger influences that I'm not able to account for every individual person in a general reading like this that might overpower some of these things that we're talking about each week in this forecast. So I just wanted to kind of clear that up. Most of you understand this, of course, but just for the new people out there who are new to astrology or who are new to these types of weekly forecasts, or maybe who don't understand how they work, I just wanted to just say a little bit about that, just because I've been getting so many comments recently. And I also get a lot of comments where I talk about very specific things as examples, and people are like, that exact specific thing happened to me. So that's always fun to get to. But anyway, that's my little spiel about that. And so before we get into the forecast for all 12 signs, I do have a couple of quick important announcements. The main one being that my Mastering Pluto webinar is going to be live next weekend on the 25th of January. And so this is the last week to get the webinar for 25% off. You can register in advance, and even if you aren't able to attend live, you'll be the first to receive the recording and you'll get that discount. And this is the last week to get $20 off the full Mastering the Outer Planets series, which includes Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, and the bonus webinar this spring, Mastering Jupiter, which is only available to people who have purchased the entire series. And so the link to check that out and see what I have available is down in the description below. You can register today and still receive that discount. It'll go up to full price next weekend. And so those are the main things. Also, Aquarius, your sun sign forecast is now available. And if you are a Pisces sun sign, your sun sign solar return forecast will be available on February 1st. And so you can pre-order that down in the description below. But with all the Pluto energy going on right now, I'm super excited about the Mastering Pluto webinar. Pluto's kind of an elusive energy in astrology where it's still a little controversial, honestly, like the way Pluto shows up in the chart and its meaning, and there are reasons for that, which we'll get into in the webinar. And so I've compiled the clearest, most accurate information from my own experience in working with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of clients, and really researching this and working with the energy of Pluto in my own life and chart, and with the charts of friends and family members. And so I feel like the information I'm going to be presenting is going to be super solid. I mean, it usually, in my opinion, is, because I only give information that works in the chart in real life. It's not just like woo-woo floaty stuff. So hopefully you'll find that helpful, and it'll help you to navigate the energy, because Pluto's strong this year. We got a lot of Pluto. And so that's pretty much all I wanted to say. And so let's get into the forecast for all 12 signs. I'm going to be focusing primarily on this square with the new moon in the sign of Aquarius, that Uranus and Taurus energy, and the areas that might be subject to some sort of major change, or even on a smaller level, it could just be an unusual situation that comes up for you. It really depends on how strongly this is impacting your personal chart, which I will mention as we go through the video. And I do have my little zodiac sign things back this way. There. So now you can see those and kind of get to your sign more easily and all of that too. All right, so let's get into this, starting with, of course, Aries and Aries rising. So for Aries and for Aries rising, this energy here with the new moon is bringing new beginnings and a fresh start when it comes to your relationships with your friends, social networks, people that you surround yourself with by choice. You could have a new friend that comes in unexpectedly, or a really weird unexpected situation that comes up within your social circle, or within a group like membership that you're a part of, or even an organization that you're maybe in a leadership position within. There could be some sort of disruption or upset that causes you to have to change something. There could even be just really unusual circumstances that change the dynamic of your relationships with your friends, or that end a friendship for some reason, because new moons are beginnings, but they're also endings. I feel like this one's going to be more of a beginning than an ending, but it could also, be a very abrupt, unexpected ending to a friendship or to a group association that you've been a part of because of something really strange that comes about. This could also bring an energy that stimulates new beginnings, or an unexpected financial situation that comes up this week. And so you might find that you have to, spend money really quickly. Maybe you have some dues to pay to some sort of group or organization and you weren't expecting it. Maybe an unexpected bill comes up, or maybe there's an unexpected circumstance or dispute or something around money or finance within your social circle that might come up and cause disruption this week. I would say though that kind of keep an open mind when it comes to your finances, because there might be something that comes up that causes you to have to spend money that you weren't expecting. Or, on the opposite end, you could have money that comes in unexpectedly, but it could pose a challenge in some way. Like, I don't know why that would pose a challenge for most people, but, with this square, it could bring some sort of challenge. Like, what do I do with this? Where did this come from? Maybe you get some sort of, I don't know, it could even just be something positive, like you get like a refund for something that you weren't expecting, or that you forgot about, or some sort of payout that comes in. Or there could be maybe some sort of unexpected circumstances around like a bonus or something like that, where maybe you were expecting a certain amount of money, but the amount you're getting is different. So there's, potential for disruption and disputes and like things like that around finances this week. So just kind of keep an open mind. When you set your intentions this week, this would be a good time to set intentions for new beginnings when it comes to just really exciting new friendships, people who are open-minded, people who are different than yourself, really setting intentions to expand your horizons and to connect with people who think outside of the box, or who maybe aren't exactly the same as you, so they help you to sort of introduce yourself to new ideas and things like that. And also setting intentions for financial changes. That could be something that you could do very positively. It might not come about exactly in the way that you think that it will, but this is definitely a ripe energy for change if you're looking to change something for your financial situation, especially if that change creates greater financial independence or greater independence in the way that you create your resources. All right. For Taurus and for Taurus rising. So for Taurus, this energy is happening in your 10th house of career and public reputation. And so this is a time where you might be starting some sort of really powerful new beginning related to your career path moving forward. This is a really great time to set intentions for your future career goals and plans for this month and beyond, or to just begin an important project related to your career. If you feel stuck, stagnant, held back, frustrated with your current circumstances in the workplace or with your career in general, maybe you feel like you've stalled out and you're not making progress, now is a time where you can instigate some sort of change and seed intentions to instigate some sort of change in order to liberate yourself from that situation, so you feel like you have more freedom in your work and the way that you're expressing yourself out in the world, but also so you feel like you have more freedom on a personal level to be who you actually are, outside of sort of the conditioning that has told you that you need to be a certain way, because this is you really rebelling against your circumstances on all levels and making changes to who you are fundamentally right now. Especially if you are a Taurus rising within those first 5 degrees in the sign of Taurus, you're going to be feeling this really intensely. It's like, I'm changing, what I'm doing out there needs to change too. And this could also bring unexpected circumstances that create change for you from the outside that might not feel necessarily great in the moment, because it's going to be disruptive to your work, to your career path, or to your relationship with people in positions of authority, even if you don't like actively work right now. It's going to create some sort of disruption there, but ultimately the end result will be liberation from something that wasn't working for you, or that you innately felt some frustration around. And it's going to help you to feel a greater sense of personal freedom when it comes to the work that you're doing out in the world and what you're pursuing in that regard. So setting intentions for changing something pretty dramatically, especially if you have that Taurus sun, moon, or rising, especially within the first 5 degrees of Taurus, this is a really great time for radical change when it comes to your career path and that dynamic there. All right, and then for Gemini and Gemini rising. So for you guys, this is happening actually in a more positive position for you. Not that this new moon is inherently negative, it's just, again, a disruptive energy. But for you, it's actually happening in your 9th house, which is the house of opportunity. It's the house of adventure. It's the house of hope. It's the house of seeing things from a grander perspective and gaining a new sense of perspective on your circumstances in life. This would be a really great time for you to, especially if you are a Gemini rising with your rising sign, sun sign, moon sign, within the first, I would say even like 6 to 8 degrees, it'll be pretty tight in that trine with your ascendant or sun or moon. This is going to be a really powerful time for you to seed intentions for opportunities to expand your horizons through adventures, through maybe some sort of new travel plans or a new educational pursuit that allows you to see things from a higher perspective. If you want to go on this year to, start some sort of additional educational program through like college or graduate school or something like that, now's the time to get your ducks in a row. It might not turn out exactly the way that you thought it would, but it can provide you this opportunity to not necessarily get exactly what you want, but to get what you need, and it'll be experienced for you quite positively. This is a really great time to travel, to make plans to travel to someplace really unusual that you normally wouldn't travel to, or to connect with people in foreign countries who are maybe their culture is completely outside of your paradigm and you normally wouldn't be able to connect with those types of people. That would be something that you could do more easily right now, connecting with people in foreign countries via technology, the internet, things like that, or taking an online course, or registering or setting intentions for an online course. Anything that's really going to break you out of your current mindset, especially when it comes to the bigger things, the bigger picture, your current belief system, your current paradigm that frames your reality. This could also be you setting intentions to study alternative philosophies or alternative spiritual or religious concepts that are very outside of the mainstream. And maybe you're thinking about doing that, but you're kind of keeping it to yourself or doing it behind closed doors. Now would be a great time for something like that as well. It might not go exactly the way that you plan, or you might kind of branch off in sort of a weird direction with it, but it's going to be exactly what you need. All right, and then for Cancer and for Cancer rising. So this new moon energy is happening in your 8th house. And so this is a time where you're going to be getting a bit of a reset when it comes to your finances, especially joint finances, through marriage, through debt, taxes, other people's money that you get from somebody else, inheritance, insurance money, that type of thing. All of these things are 8th house themes. Investments also occur in the 8th house too. And so this could be you setting intentions for an investment in something that is maybe altruistic or benefits humanity or benefits a group of people, but it might not necessarily bring the returns that you're expecting or the outcome that you anticipate. That could be good or bad, but it might not go exactly as planned, but it could be something that could help change your financial situation and the control that you have over your finances, your financial freedom pretty dramatically. This is a time where you might have some sort of unexpected bill or, tax bill or something like that. It's coming into tax season in the United States a little bit, where people are starting to look at that, and you might realize that your financial situation is not what you thought it was. This could also bring a new beginning or unexpected opportunity financially for your spouse or significant other that comes in a way that's very unexpected, maybe through networking with groups of people and connecting with the right people at the right time for business. And so that could be something that comes about. And this is also a really important time to seed intentions for healing. So if you're somebody who, especially on a psychological level, has been going through a lot because you are a Cancer, you've had the eclipses, you've had that Saturn-Pluto conjunction opposite your rising sign, maybe some trouble in relationships. Now's the time to set intentions for deepening intimacy in your partnerships potentially, but also for you really getting a good understanding of yourself, right? So this would be a great time to seek help through like psychotherapy or some sort of deeper work with whatever type of therapeutic model you feel comfortable with, as long as it's aimed at really uncovering what's going on beneath the surface so you can work through it, heal it, expose it, and let it go. That would be something. And also this could bring something where you kind of have to face your fears and anxieties around maybe some sort of group connection. That could be something that could come about unexpectedly. Maybe you're thrown in front of a group all of a sudden and you have to share something really intimate and it feels uncomfortable to you, but doing that is, healing in some way. And that could be a process that some Cancer risings are going through right now. All right. And then for Leo, that was Cancer, sorry. I have my screen in a different area now, and I forgot to do that. We already did Cancer, so if you're watching this because you saw that pop up, rewind. And now we're doing Leo. So for Leo and for Leo rising, you guys are having this new beginning energy in your 7th house, which is the house of relationships. And so this is a time where you could have unexpected new connections that come into your life, or connections that are already in your life that leave very unexpectedly, especially as it relates to business-related partnerships or relationships with people that you work with, or with bosses and superiors or authority figures in your life. This is a time where if you want to form some sort of new partnership in business, you can set intentions for that, and something might come about this month, especially if you are Leo rising, around that. I would say anywhere from 0 to, let's give it 0 to 6-7 degrees. You're going to be feeling this really strongly. And so you're probably feeling really frustrated with your current circumstances in the workplace. You want more independence and freedom and excitement in your work. You want to feel like you're not doing the same stagnant thing day in and day out. So you want to shake it up a little bit, and maybe bringing in, a new person into your business, or teaming up with somebody in some way, or making new work related contacts would help you to do that. It might be disruptive to what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. It might cause a little bit of discord in the workplace, but it could be very worthwhile, especially if you've been having this frustration building for quite some time. This is also a time to seed intentions to make changes to your current relationships, especially romantic partnerships and marriage partnerships. And so if you've been feeling like things are a little dull or stagnant, Leo rising people really need a lot of independence within their partnerships, and they need to have a lot of excitement in their relationships as well to keep things fresh. If you're not having that excitement, stimulation, if you don't feel like you have your own your own thing going on. If you feel like you're too codependent in relationship, you tend to disrupt the relationship in some way, or it disrupts from the outside. That's another topic in itself. But if you are feeling that, if you're feeling frustrated with your current circumstances in your partnership, and you feel like if something doesn't change, you're gonna, explode. Now's the time to set intentions to change that and to really reignite the excitement in your relationship. And also, if you want a new relationship to come in, set some intentions for that. Put yourself out there in new and exciting and sort of unusual ways that you normally wouldn't. And that will be the best way to draw in new friendships and new partnerships in business and romantically. And so now's a great time for that for Leos. And then for Virgo and for Virgo rising. So for you guys, this is happening in your 6th house, which is the house of work and daily routines. It's a very Virgoan house because it's also a house of service and health and all of these things. And so now is a really great time to set intentions for Virgos, especially Virgo risings, to make changes that impact your health in a very positive way. You might have to change something really radically, especially when it comes to your beliefs and sort of philosophies. If they become rigid and dogmatic around nutrition or around health in some way, maybe you stick really rigidly to a very specific nutritional plan because you believe that this is the best thing for you. And all of a sudden you're introduced to some new information this week and you realize that you have to change that maybe you should start thinking outside of the box. And maybe this is difficult for you to make this change, but it needs to happen in order to improve your health in the way that you've been wanting. This could also be a great time to seek out different opinions that are really outside of the box when it comes to certain health concerns. And so if you're somebody who is suffering from some sort of chronic illness or just illness in general, or who wants to improve the health of your body just to maintain, optimal wellness, and you've been kind of feeling stagnant in that area, or you've been feeling like you're not getting what you need, setting intentions around the time of this new moon, maybe not taking action then, but setting intentions toward finding the right person and really looking at the things that you might even feel are kind of weird, in terms of creating better health. That would be a really great thing to utilize this energy for. This could also be a really great time to set intentions for new beginnings involving your work, especially your day-to-day work routines. If those have been feeling dull or stagnant, this could be a really great time for setting intentions to hire new employees if that's part of your job, or to create better connections, or to change the dynamic in the workplace with your coworkers. This could be a great time to change your actual work environment. So setting intentions to rearrange your office or your cubicle or whatever it is that you work from, or to even move to a different location for your office or something like that. This could be a great time for that as well. It could just happen unexpectedly too. You get this opportunity and you have to change, and it's exciting and it helps you to have more freedom or to feel better about your work. But, it's disruptive. You have to take all your stuff and move it, and it's setting it all up and all of that. That would be a pretty straightforward expression of this energy for Virgo risings. All right. And then for Libra and for Libra rising. So you guys have had for Libra and for Libra rising. So you guys have had a little bit of challenge around this past month or two with the eclipses and with Saturn and Pluto coming into that exact conjunction, because it's been squaring your ascendant and descendant. And especially if you're a Libra rising around that 22nd degree where that conjunction came exact, you might have been feeling this really intensely. And so this is actually going to bring a pretty good reprieve from that energy with this new moon. This is a time where you can set intentions to try something new when it comes to your passions, hobbies, interests, the things that you love to do, to focus more on things that bring you joy truly and deeply, focusing on things that you do because you love to do them, right? And so this is really a great time to set intentions to make changes in your life, sometimes pretty dramatically, in order to create space to do those things that you love to do. This could also be a new romance or a fling that comes in for Libra risings, especially if you are a Libra rising anywhere from that 0 to 7 degrees, let's say, maybe even 8 degrees. You might be feeling this in the area of romance. You might be feeling frustrated with the lack of passion or the lack of romance in your current relationship, or you might not have a relationship and you just want something, right? You want something exciting and fun and fresh. And so this could be a great time to set intentions for that, and that might just come organically into your life. If you are a Libra rising who's dealing with any sort of issues involving finances, especially joint finances and children, and so a lot of times this could be reflected in maybe some sort of custody battle or divorce proceedings or something like that, but it could really have to do with maybe even debt that you go into in order to pay for childcare expenses or something along those lines. Now's a time where you could have an unexpected expense, or you could have an unexpected change to an agreement related to financial situations with children. And so just kind of keep an eye out for that and keep an open mind, because things could change rather quickly and the outcome might not be what you expect it to be or what you wanted it to be, but it can create better financial freedom and better freedom when it comes to your ability to interact with your children in the way that you see fit. So kind of keeping that in mind if there is that disruptive energy. For Scorpio rising, this new moon is happening in your 4th house of the home, family, property, and it's squaring that Uranus energy, which is going to be in Taurus in your 7th house, which is the house of relationships. And so this could be a time to seed intentions for anything that you want to change or start fresh in, like literally in your home. So maybe you want to make some changes and renovate something. Maybe you want to rearrange your furniture or redecorate. Maybe the dynamic in your family situation, especially your family relationships, because of that 7th house energy, has been really frustrating. And so you need to do something very radically to change it. And so now is a great time to set intentions for that. You could have something that you need to change or renegotiate involving contracts or agreements related to your home or your property. And so that could be a big theme, especially if you're a Scorpio rising sign within that first 7 to 8 degrees in the sign of Scorpio. You might be feeling a huge frustration with the current terms or contract or agreement involving your home and property, or with your relationship dynamics especially too. And so you might need to, talk things out with your landlord, renegotiate your rents, maybe even find a new place to live if it's not working for you. Or it could even just be something as simple as, like I said before, the family dynamic isn't working out. And so you need to have a family meeting and discuss things, right? And change the way that you're going about interacting with each other and what the roles are in your household. Or it could just be something like, you're sick of looking at your walls and you don't like the color, so you need to redecorate. So it could be something as simple as that, but there is going to be an opportunity for you to make that change. And, if you're going to do it in a way that's radical, that's outside of the box, that's maybe a little bit different than what you would have thought of before. And then for Sagittarius, okay, so that was Scorpio. I keep forgetting. I'll remember next time, guys. So if you're watching this right now because I pulled up the Scorpio icon, rewind, because I just finished talking about Scorpio and I forgot to switch the slide over. And so now we're on to Sagittarius and Sagittarius rising. And that is Sagittarius up there. Good. So for Sagittarius and Sagittarius rising. So for you guys, this is a powerful opportunity to have, to change something in terms of your communications at work. There could be a really unexpected sort of weird message or email or communication with your coworkers or involving your workplace that comes in this week that could be kind of disruptive, or that could cause you to have to do something in a new way or think about something in a new way as it relates to your work. This could also be a disruptive message or some sort of information coming in around your health that could be, that could cause you to have to change or, think about things in a new way when it comes to anything dealing with health or your daily routines. But this could be a really great opportunity for you to start something new when it comes to, especially on a smaller level, when it comes to skills and things like that. You could start something new and very different and outside of the norm for yourself when it comes to education, especially when it comes to learning practical skills. Maybe there's a new class that you want to take that's a little different than what you're used to, that's very outside of the norm for you, and so you jump in and you take that class. Maybe you teach classes and you decide that you want to go about teaching these things in a completely radical new way, and so you completely revise your lesson plan and your approach to teaching. That would be something that could be very strong for those Sagittarius risings. At the very least, this could be just a really unusual, weird message that comes in, or you having to think differently about something that impacts your day-to-day life really intensely, but also liberates you from your old paradigm and your old way of thinking that maybe has gotten a little stuck or stagnant in some way. This could also be a new beginning related to something involving vehicles or short distance travel. And so maybe you've been wanting to get a new vehicle. It might not come about in the way that you want it to or expect it to, but this is a time where you can make a change there, right? And so that's something you can seed intentions for at this new moon as well. And then for Capricorn and Capricorn rising. So this energy here with the new moon is happening in your second house of finances. So great time to set intentions for financial gains or financial changes that you want to make, especially if those financial changes allow you greater freedom and liberation when it comes to the control you have over your resources, the way that you spend, the way that you invest, and the way that you create resources for yourself. So you want to aim for something more liberating and more exciting, as opposed to something like really stagnant or stable or kind of routine in that area. So maybe thinking about setting intentions to make some sort of investments that you're really excited about or passionate about in some way. This could also be you wanting to, seed intentions to spend money on something that's really exciting for you, that's in alignment with your hobbies, passions, interests, or something that you really love. This could also be an unexpected opportunity that comes in that costs you maybe a little bit of money when it comes to your children or childcare or something like that. And it's a little disruptive, but it's a positive new beginning, even though there is that disruption there. This could be you having to spend money on your children unexpectedly, just kind of in general. That could be part of it too. But this is a really great time for you to, if you want to use this intentionally, to seed intentions to change something with your financial situation in order to allow for greater freedom to do the things that you love to do because you love to do them, to engage in your passions. All right. And that was Capricorn, by the way. So if you are just now starting to watch this because you saw Capricorn pulled up, rewind because I forgot to pull it up again. And we're moving on to Aquarius. All right. And so for Aquarius and Aquarius rising, this new moon energy is happening in your sign. And so this is a new beginning for you in general. And especially if your birthday is this week. If you are an Aquarius sun sign and your birthday is like at the end of this week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you're going to have a really powerful new moon in your solar return chart. And this is going to bring incredible change for you this year. This is going to be a life-changing year for you, where a lot of things in your life are going to, change rather abruptly in a way that might feel disruptive, but also really exciting and liberating for you throughout the year. And so if you are an Aquarius sun sign, happy birthday. And you can get your 2-hour solar return sun sign forecast down in the description below. There's a link for that. And I go into like a lot of detail about this new moon energy and how that affects your year in general, but also a lot of the specific energies that will come about throughout the year, so you can have a good roadmap for setting your intentions for the year ahead. And for all Aquarius risings, suns, moons, all of that, this is an energy of change. This is an energy of new beginnings. This is a big cosmic reset. This is where you finally get your new beginning and your forward momentum. You've had all this energy around endings with all of that Capricorn in your 12th house, where you've been having to restructure and let go of things. And it's been maybe a little isolating for a lot of you. This is where you finally come back into the world. You come back out into the open. You get to engage with life more actively. You get to set intentions for new beginnings. You get that forward momentum really intensely, especially if you are an Aquarius rising sign, anywhere from that 0 to 8 degrees. You're going to be feeling this the most, and you're going to really feel this strong frustration with your current circumstances, and you're going to want to make some changes. And those changes could affect you in many different areas, but especially on a personal level when it comes to your personal goals and orientation. You might feel like you want to change your appearance and have a makeover. Don't go too far, because with that Uranus square, it might be a little too radical, and You might not necessarily like that, especially if it's impulsive, but this is a good time to change and to refresh your appearance. This is a great time to change something when it comes to your place of living. So if you're not happy with where you're living or the dynamic within your family situation, you can seed intentions to create that change. This is a time where you can have new beginnings in relationships and changes in your relationship dynamics. You could have new relationships that come in, or disruptions to old relationships that change things or end things rather abruptly. And this is also a time where you could have changes that even extend into your career and what it is that you're doing for work. And so setting intentions for change on all levels for Aquarius, whatever it is that you want to create for yourself in your life, especially in those 4 areas in the sort of angular houses in your chart. All right, and then for Pisces and for Pisces rising. So for Pisces, this is happening in your 12th house because you are kind of going through this this period of introspection where you're kind of pulling back and taking stock of what you've created for yourself over the course of the past year as you're preparing for your cosmic reset with your solar return, or, you know, the sun hitting. And so you're in your 12th house phase, you're in the winding down phase, you're in a phase right now where it's more contemplative and you're going to be less active out in the world. You might feel like you have a little less energy than you normally do, but internally, at the end of this week, you might feel a lot of frustration, like on a sort of subjective, like internal level, where you don't really know where that's coming from. And so paying attention to that, kind of diving deep, paying attention to the signs and symbols and your dreams, and maybe if you are somebody who, you know, does journaling or does meditation, paying attention to what's coming up for you in terms of feelings, sensations, and signs and symbols and things like that around this frustrated energy will help you to figure out what it is that you need to change. And you could actually have sort of a really strange or disruptive message that comes through this week, and that could cause you to have to change your mindset around something or to change your plans around something, and that could be more of an external manifestation of what's going on here. And this could also cause you to have to change something rather abruptly and end something once and for all that you've really been needing to let go of in your life, and that could be subconscious habits, addictions, or it could be connections to certain karmic circumstances or patterns that have been repeating in your life, certain situations or people that you no longer need and maybe need to cut cords with. And so it's a good time of reflection. It's kind of like looking at what in your life over the course of the past year has grown and is working for you, what feels like it needs to end, because you're preparing for that reset where you're going to be letting go of everything that no longer serves you from the past year and, you know, resetting for your solar year ahead. And so now is the time to kind of think about where that frustration is in your life and how you can move away from that to clear away space so you can bring in what you want in the coming year. All right, and so that is my forecast for all 12 signs. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate your support. I've been getting so many wonderful, thoughtful comments, and you guys are always super awesome on this channel, and I'm very grateful for that. Not everybody has such just wonderful, kind subscribers like I do, and so I'm always happy to read your comments. So if you have anything that you want to ask or mention, feel free to comment below, and if you like what you just saw, please subscribe to my channel, like this video, and share it with somebody if you feel like it could be helpful to them in navigating the week ahead. And sign up for the Pluto webinar too, so we can connect a little bit more. And especially if you're going to have a lot of really strong Pluto energy this year, I think it'll be helpful. But that's pretty much it. So I will see you guys next week, and thank you guys again so much. All right, bye everybody.